From the BBR studios, once again, it is Line Locked Podcast, episode number 22.
Double twos.
Double twos.
Double deuces.
Yeah. Hey, man, we got a F&A show for you tonight.
Hey, thanks for censoring that.
I know.
We have Todd and Jenny on, and it was a awesome conversation. Okay. Lots of laughs. You guys are going to love it. If you don't like the front third of our show, no big deal. Above here, if you're watching it on the YouTube channel side, there'll be a timestamp. You can just boot right over to the old interview. If you want to listen to us jibber jab.
If you're just going to go straight to it, you can do that.
You audio listeners, well, you're just going to have to deal with it.
Yeah. If you're in your car, just fast forward. Just keep your eye on the road.
Yeah, approximately 10 minutes, but we don't know yet. So, all right. Hey, we have something cool that any of our listeners might want to join in on. It came out last year. Never really did anything with it, but they got it advertised to this year, and I figured maybe it'd be fun for anybody that wants to get involved. It's called Drag Race Bracket Bonanza.
Bonanza.com.
And basically what it is any of the professionals, see here, Funny Car, Top Fuel, Pro Stock Motorcycle, they create a bracket for you, and you choose who's going to win the rounds.
Yep.
And we do it as it's kind of like a
fantasy football.
Yeah, kind of like that for drag racing anyway. So we are going to put an invite link below, a link to the Drag Race Bracket Bonanza.com, and a link to our league. Yeah. And we're going to play against you guys. At the end of it, whoever has the most, we'll give them a $100 gift card.
$100?
$100 wherever you want to. What it does, Jegs?
Are we talking Monopoly money?
No, I'll give them $100.
$100.
At the end of the year, there's 18 races.
That's a long season.
So hopefully I can win my $100.
Yeah.
You guys got to sign up, though. Their points are basically calculated by as many rounds as you win for an event. So the bracket changes every race.
Yeah.
So every 2 weeks there'll be a race, and you got to choose who's going to win.
Do we know when the first one is?
It's this weekend, unfortunately.
So we're not going to do the first race then.
No, we're gonna go ahead and do it ourselves.
Yeah,
and then we'll just delete those points at the end.
Okay.
Unless it's a blowout, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what we're gonna do. So below us on the description. Sorry.
Yeah.
There's a link to the website and a link to our league. So get in there. It'll be fun.
That's going to be a blast. So get in there and do that, and see what you can pull off and get some bracket points.
Yeah.
Virtual bracket points.
Yep. Virtual racing. And $100 gift cards, and we'll make it your choice or just Jegs. One of the two.
Jegs or Summit.
Jegs or Summit. Yeah. So one of the two.
It depends on if Jegs or Summit hears this and they want to sponsor us, then that's the one we'll give it to.
I like the cut of your jib, son. Yeah. All right, so first thing we're going to do is TikTok tragedies.
Hit it.
All right, that's TikTok tragedies.
TikTok tragedy.
I got to say, it's probably some of the most fun for me to do this because I love them.
Yeah.
But, if you guys don't like them, let us know. Or send us more because we love seeing these things.
Yeah, if you have something, send
All right,
us
so
more.
this one is from Radio versus the World last year.
Okay.
And it's actually, there's a tragedy and then a little bit of time and then more of a tragedy.
Like a sub-tragedy?
It's a secondary tragedy.
All right.
So we'll watch the first tragedy first. And looks like the Camaro got a little loose in the right lane.
Yep.
Sliding sideways and hit the wall.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's bad. And we hate seeing that at any race. Really, it's a terrible thing. But that's not really the tragedy we're here for. Because if we go a little bit further ahead, now he does catch fire, and thank God he's able to get out fast.
Yeah.
That's always a concern of mine.
Oh, yeah. Look, it's really going up, too.
Yeah, it does. And then the fire brigade comes.
Fire brigade's on the way.
They're on their way here shortly.
Everybody clear the staging lanes.
So he gets out safely, thank God.
Oh, wow. Let's look at that thing going up.
Lots of fire. That Camaro, thankfully he didn't hit the wall too hard, but it looks like he probably hit it. Oh, here we go. Here's our secondary tragedy. Boop.
What? Oh, no. What the heck, man?
Yeah, I hate seeing it. That does happen on sticky tracks and but two tragedies in one for you there. You want to go back and do right here again, just because it's funny. Boop.
Oh, man. Right on his leg, too, it looks like. Oh.
Yeah, he gets up and walks around in a minute, so it doesn't look like he's too terribly injured, but he's definitely going to feel that tomorrow.
Wow.
Not good. Not good at all. But 2 tragedies in one, boys.
Wow, that was pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah.
So here's our next one. This is from World Series of Pro Mod this year.
Oh, this year's, okay.
And it's Pro 10.5, so 10.5 tire.
Okay.
And it's a Nova against looks like a Mustang, right?
Yeah, it does look like a Mustang.
Right. Check this out, Chris.
Oh, all the way down was the front end, all the way down.
Yeah, all the way down. He actually, we zoom forward here, he actually crosses the traps on his back tires. Look at this. So the Nova goes up. It looks like about 100 foot out.
And he didn't even go up on the launch. He was already out 60 feet.
It's a power wheelie.
Yeah.
And then throws the chute with the front wheels up. Look at that. How cool is that?
Oh, his rear
One
wheel lifted
tire.
up too. Yeah.
One
okay.
tire.
Yeah.
Wild, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder what would have happened if he hadn't pulled the chutes out. If he would have gone.
Well, let's hope to not have to find that out.
Yeah.
He got real lucky, but I've said it to Chris many times. The only thing that's tying you to the starting line is your parachute.
Yeah.
Because that's your forward momentum. So you definitely, if anytime you're in trouble, for one, you're going to lift unless you're a big man like that guy.
Yeah.
And then for two, pull the parachute, and that'll hopefully keep you straight.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you're hoping in that situation that both rear tires are firmly planted and going at the same exact speed,
so it
doesn't go left or right.
Well, your rear tires you got a spool in there, baby.
Yeah, I mean you don't want anything to happen to one tire, or you're going to go sideways.
Yeah,
right?
He got real lucky, and thankfully it paid off for him.
Yeah, good job, buddy.
Actually, moving on to World Series Pro Mod, that's going to be our news. Is just the winners from this last weekend.
What do you think about that?
You did it for me.
Yeah, I did it for you. It's the news.
Yeah.
Line Lock Podcast News. Corey, there we go.
Thank you. Hey, maybe I just need to make you in charge of that shit.
Maybe.
So I don't have to.
Yeah.
All right. Unless we're just going to talk about quickly about the winners of the Pro Mod race that just happened this last weekend down in Bradenton. So Super Pro, which is I kind of did this in the list of importance in the program. Super Pro, the runner-up was Travis Logan, had an 022 light, 6192 on a 619 dial.
Oh, that's impressive. Yeah.
Still lost. Michael Carpenter did a .007 and ran dead on.
Yeah.
There you go. 4.87.
Yeah, you can run 0.02 of a second off,
So
but in order to win, you're going to have to be dead on.
He had a 24 package and lost, and then Michael had he had a 7 package.
Yeah.
So
007, baby.
Crazy. Top dragster runner-up was Tisha Wilson. She ran a 4.344 on a 4.32. Steve Furr got her, though. 000 dead-on reaction.
Damn.
And a 385 on a 384 dial.
Ooh.
So a 1/10,000th package, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Top sportsman. Runner-up was Ronnie Proctor with a 0011 red. So lost before he started.
That's not even a real good red, though.
No,
I mean, that's not even close.
Tim Molnar ran a 3.765 on a 3.76.
Oh,
so he was on his number. I don't know. He didn't tell. I didn't find the reaction time, but it didn't matter.
Didn't matter. Yeah.
Pro Mod second chance race. And this one's kind of personal to me. So there was only a 32 car field. Any of the 32 cars could come back the next day, and they got one hit at the track.
Oh.
The fastest two got to do the second chance race for, I believe it was $10,000. Yeah, $10,000.
$10,000.
So the fastest two slugged it out for $10,000. Runner-up, Mike Decker, 3.664 at 206.85. Lost to Jeff Rudolph in the Ghetto Sleigh. You remember that car?
Yeah.
We've seen it around a few times.
Oh, yeah.
He did a Ghetto Sleigh, ran 3.652 at 205.72.
Oh.
So he won the 10K. I was really proud of him. That was cool.
Yeah.
But we've been trying to get him on the show. He won't return my phone calls.
All right. Come on, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff. Somebody knows Jeff. Holler at him. Pro 10.5. Okay, tire size. Pro 10.5. Runner-up was Joel Winsley Jr., 402 at 195.36. And lost to Nick Schroeder at 404.44 at 190.7.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at those numbers, you're thinking a little something's different.
Yeah.
It's because Nick won on a hole shot.
Yeah, he did.
Killed him at the tree.
Yeah, he did. And look at it, it's 5 miles an hour difference on there. Yeah.
There's that, plus the ET was dead.
Yeah.
Winsley should have won that race if he got off the line when he was supposed to. All right, the next one was Mountain Motors Pro Stock, which we knew somebody that ran down there, Bo Butner.
Yep.
We're trying to get Bo on here too.
Bo, where are you at, buddy?
Yeah. Bo knows not to go on the Line Lock podcast. All right. Runner-up was Johnny. You're going to help me. Plunchinko?
Plunchinko. No, it's Plunchinko.
Okay. He ran a 4.137 at 175.71. Lost to Matt. Help me out here.
Gian Grande.
025 reaction, 4.108 at 175.37. Wins it. So they got $25,000.
He should be sponsored by Taco Bell because he sounds like a number
Grande. 7. All right, so this leads us up to the big race, and that's the Pro Mod race.
Yeah.
It's the World Series Pro Mod.
Yeah.
So I think there was like 70-something entrants.
Yep.
And there was only 32 cars that got in the field. Stevie Fast, my guy.
Yeah, you called that. You called it right before
it happened. So Stevie came up. He was Final Four.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I don't hate on Stevie at all, but you know, it's his first time with this car. I was feeling red light.
Yep.
Sure enough,
he did. And it was a hard red light. Too.
Yeah, it was like a 70 red light.
Yeah.
So nowhere near it. I don't. He maybe had some equipment failure. I have no idea. I haven't heard. But nonetheless, he lost. No big deal. Runner up, Jim Halsey at 4.304 at 126. Man. That number just a little slow down there.
Just a little bit, man. For being Pro Mod,
yeah.
I mean.
So Derek Ward ended up winning this at 3.625 at 208.17. I do want to mention something. This was actually kind of interesting because both teams needed to have a grace period. So Derek gave Jim 40 minutes. Because Jim was rebuilding his motor.
Yeah.
He needed to refreshen it. So he gave him the 40 minutes. That's fine. They go up to the first time they tried running this. Derek Ward could not start his car. So Jim said, you want to go back to the pits? Come back in 15. They put a new starter on it and ran the race, and he ended up winning. So, you know, it is what it is. It seems like maybe Jim had some motor issues. 430 is not fast. It's fast for us, but
yeah,
that's not what that car is capable of. So I think he had some motors issues or spun online. I can't remember now. But still, I thought it was cool, good sportsmanship, you know, that they allowed each other some time to get up there.
Definitely.
So it ended up being an hour and 40 minutes late.
Oh.
Nonetheless,
yeah,
pretty cool. So that was all I got for news. I think we're going to take a quick commercial break and come back with. Yep. I tell you, this
cat.
we had a lot of fun on this interview. Yeah. So lots of cussing, parental advisory,
and it's not about drag racing. Just because I don't think we actually brought that up, but it's not about drag racing. It's about a sport that's new to both of us.
Yes,
and it is professional go-kart racing. So if you have any interest or if you've seen them race out there before, this isn't your typical go-karts that's at the Malibu Jacks, the electric ones or anything.
Malibu Jacks.
These guys, you know, they're doing 70, 80 miles an hour.
These aren't the go-karts that are next to the putt-putt golf
yes,
course.
Exactly. With the little wire at the top holding on to it.
All right, stay tuned to that. We'll be right back.
All right.
All right, we're back.
Hey, we got a great... two guests here.
Guests.
Plural.
Guests.
Plural guests. Today, we got Todd and Jenny, and they are going to school us on the life of racing go-karts.
Yeah, they're going to have to treat me like a 5-year-old.
Yes.
That's about my mentality when I go go-karting, by the way.
All right, well, here they are. Hey, Todd and Jenny, how are you guys doing?
Good, how you doing?
Hey.
Perfect. Todd, tell us a little bit how you got into all this, because it seems like you're pretty legit.
I don't know about that. My dad, when I was in diapers, used to race go-karts, and he was pretty good. So I started liking racing, and so he sold the go-kart, and they shut the track down where I'm from. And at that point, life got in the way. I took up brown ball sports, and then life got in the way, and my ex left me, to be honest with you, and I wanted a midlife crisis, and I wanted to race my sprint cars, and sprint car or Wayland modified would be my first choice, but I'm a fireman, I'm not independently wealthy, so go-karting was the cheapest avenue, so that's how I got into it. I bought it.
Well, I tell you, your story kind of sounds like a country song so far.
Yeah, kind of does. So, my dad asked me, "What the hell are you doing?" And I said, "I want to race go-karts." He goes, "You don't know what you're getting yourself into." And I said, "No, it can't be that hard." And because we've all gone and raced go-karts and played putt-putt afterwards and ate ice cream, but this is I didn't expect it to be this difficult. So I picked my go-kart up on a Tuesday, and my first race was on a Saturday at Whiteland, Indiana. I went out in the first turn and spun it and looped it into the barrier. And I'm like, holy shit, my dad knows what he's talking about. And later on that afternoon, I was racing and I went in the hay bales and the feature, and this old guy in bib overalls. Once I was sitting there mad because I wrecked, as my tire went by me, he's like, that young man's tire came off.
Was his name Bubba?
My thinking, what I wanted to say, I couldn't say. So,
yeah. Oh, you could say it here.
I had to go to the car. They took me out of the cart and put me in the corner and time out and watch the rest of the race, which is humbling.
Yeah, I guarantee it. So
that's okay.
It sounds like your start is kind of like our start.
Definitely.
Failure to launch.
Yeah.
The third race in, I totaled the cart. I got a cart frame at home in my house that's totally ruined. Third race in.
Yeah. Wow. So
obviously
this is a very competitive type of racing and probably very expensive. I mean, probably as expensive as we're dealing with.
Yeah.
You said you're a fireman, not independent loyalty. I can relate to that. It doesn't matter how much you make, you're going to spend it all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, that's just how it is.
Right. Who has the most toys wins, right?
Yeah, well, that's what we're going for. Mm-hmm. Hopefully Jesus thinks the same thing. All right, so let's go back a little bit. So, obviously, as a kid, you said you kind of played around with the go-kart and stuff before the track got closed. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes,
what kind of go-karts? I know there's different CCs and stuff like that. Like at that age group, what kind of were you racing?
There was basic two-cycle at that point. My dad raced the Margay, is what he raced out of St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah.
And my dad was always a gearhead. He drag raced. He had one of the fastest cars in my home county in Illinois. He used to drag race to take my mom out, and he helped with sprint cars for years. And so me and my dad, it's just a connection, I guess, to me and my dad, as far as racing, because we love going to Eldora, and he's worked on sprint cars. And so, yeah, there's 2-cycle, 4-cycle. The 4-cycle is very competitive because we're all based on a sealed engine by Briggs & Stratton. Now, the 2-cycle is a little bit more expensive. If you race 2-cycle, you might as well buy a midget or a mini sprint and race that because it's just as cheap.
Yeah.
So but there's age brackets. I mean, I raced the 35 and over and the 50 over, and then the 15 and up. And those little 15-year-olds, they don't give a fuck. They don't care. They don't. They do not care. They have no clue. They're fearless. They don't heal like we used to. I'm old, and they go and they play with dad's money. Well, I know it's amazing how your mind thinks, shit, this is going to hurt. It's sketchy. Do I do it? And how fast you process that. You know, this is going to hurt. Is it worth it? Usually the answer is yes. But it's going to be expensive too.
Dude, I just love those 15-year-olds don't give a fuck.
Yeah, those young kids, and you can't hit them. I mean, because you go in jail. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't punch them in the mouth and say you flipping idiot.
You can cuss them out.
Yeah. Jesus, yeah, I bet that's
your dad to come down here. I'm gonna kick his ass for you. No, I mean, what do you do?
Yeah, big 6'8", 400-pound gentleman shows up.
All right,
I'm just kidding, man.
All right, everybody. Great show, everybody. We're going to end on a high note here. We're out.
Your son's a dumbass.
All right, so obviously there's got to be leagues for under 15 because I've seen young kids run them too, but they're probably pretty slow, right? I mean, they're compared to what you're doing now.
Well, I could probably fit in a 4-year-old's cart because I'm only 5'4". But yeah, they're 4 or 5 years old. You could start racing.
Yeah.
They start getting really competitive probably about age 8.
Mm-hmm.
Age 8, they're probably going 40 mile an hour. You take a slide out to restrict the RPM of the motor, but they're still going, 40, 45 mile an hour.
Wow, and that's getting it when you're 8 years old. I mean, Jesus,
when you're an inch from the ground, hell yeah, that's getting it.
Yeah. So when you get to 15, I'm assuming you can start opening things up as far as there's less restrictions on things.
About size at age 10, 12 is where they start opening them back up.
Okay. And then once you get to your higher levels, you've mentioned. So let's a little bit talk about the chassis side of things before we get into the motor side, maybe something we're more familiar with. The chassis, I'm sure that is a big expense and something that there's a lot of money involved, and there's probably lots of different brands and everything like that. But is there a different chassis for instance, their 15-year-old that's going pretty fast versus your 30-year-old that's very competitive? Like, were we talking chromoly stuff? Or are we talking mild steel? Are they built different?
They're not built different. They're just less. They're just built on a smaller scale. The steel and the design is pretty much identical.
The same stuff. And then
it's just a smaller frame.
Gotcha.
From the back.
And go ahead.
Side to side.
Yeah. So at what point is it where pretty much I don't want to call it an outlaw or unlimited. Do they have a class like that to where it's basically the most money wins essentially? Because I'm assuming,
the shifter carts, the shifter carts, they're pretty fast.
Yeah.
Up at Newcastle, you get going about 90 mile an hour on the shifter cart, and those are raced competitively all over the
90
country.
miles an hour and no roll cage.
Yeah.
No.
That's wild. So
my buddy flipped Saturday, and the dumbass didn't let go of the steering wheel, so he rode with it. And my other buddy's the one that hit him and flipped him.
Yeah.
After he hit another cart, but he didn't let go of the steering wheel. So guess what he did? He rolled as he held on to the go kart.
He should have let Jesus take the wheel.
But
he wanted it for himself.
I'm trying to get out of that
thing. Just fling me out like a rubber band.
Oh gosh. But I know the shifters, they're nuts. I drove a shifter as a practice one time for about 10 laps, and I was wore out because the shifters have paddle shifters on the steering wheel, and it's just insanely, 90 mile an hour in your truck going down the highway or car compared to an inch from the ground going 80 to 90. That's insane.
The acceleration of I've actually ridden one once. The acceleration of them is insane.
Is it?
Oh yeah. It's like it's even more than a crotch rocket motorcycle or something like that. It is just gone.
Yeah.
It is crazy. So let's talk a little bit more about the engine side of things. You've mentioned 2-stroke and 4-stroke.
Yes.
That you said the 2-stroke was more expensive. Is that correct?
Yes, because like the KA 100s, the CCs, they got to get rebuilt every 6 to 8 races.
Okay.
Mine, I can run 20 hours on mine, and I send it back to my engine builder, and he goes through it. I don't know what he does to it, and he sends it back to me. I ask him, is it fast? He says yes. I said okay. I say okay. So, I mean, it's a sealed engine. You can't really mess around with them. You can. There's some new rules that have come out as far as the bottom and the head and the bottom, but if I get caught cheating, you're going to have to explain to me how the hell I got caught cheating, because I have no idea what I did.
You didn't do anything.
I mean, what?
Yeah.
That's shit, man, because somebody's vagina hurt because I beat him.
Yeah.
No, I just flat beat you,
Hey, Daddy, he's faster than me.
Yeah. And it's funny because we talk about the 15-year-olds, but in all seriousness, when I race in multiple classes, I've been in more wrecks and seen more wrecks and bad wrecks in the old man class, in our classes, than the younger kids.
Oh, really? Okay.
I thought that when you get with the old guys that they'll calm down.
A little more conservative? No.
Awful.
Yeah. And plus they have that thing where I've been there before, I can handle it, and a little more pride probably.
Overconfidence, maybe?
Overconfidence. That, and their reactions just aren't as fast. I mean, you could probably agree with that, right? I mean, you're not as fast.
Oh, right.
It is what it is, I would assume. But, the motor side of things has got me really curious about, what can you do as far as cheating? I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of ways. Any form of racing, there's gray area, right? So, there's a lot of stuff you could probably do there. But I do like the idea of sealed engines. And what I wanted to bring up on that is are you guys, how are you parodied other than, obviously you have the same motor, but do you have to meet a certain weight at the end of the race or anything like that?
The sportsman class, there's different weights. Usually it's 375 and 390 is what we'll be running. Jenny will be at 375 because I don't know where I'd stick out enough weight to get her to 390.
Yeah, so that was my question. So you
put her in a pocket, you know what I'm saying?
Is that weight with driver and cart?
Yes.
So
the cart weighs about 165 pounds.
165 pounds.
Is what the cart weighs. So I weigh 205. I don't have to put much by the time I get my stuff on and my full tank of gas.
Yeah, I guarantee
He
it.
doesn't, so we're gonna have to find ways to put.
Stick rocks in my pocket.
Yeah, but it's funny when you say that because it does make a difference as far as the setup on the cart, where you put the weight and the balance. You just can't stick it anywhere.
Yeah.
There's got to be a rhyme or reason to where you put it because the way the cart bends when you're going in a corner,
Yeah.
and the way it reacts.
Well, and your gears,
Yeah.
your gear ratio, it has to line up with that.
Yeah, there's probably a ton involved, and I'm gonna definitely ask you a bunch of questions about the tuning aspect of one, because I've heard some stuff online. I don't know anything about it. I've just kind of browsed across it, but yeah, for sure the weight. A lighter driver probably has more advantage because you can kind of put the weight where you want it, right?
Yes, the weight's on the engine's normally on the right side, and so you stick it on the left, and you try to stick it. You try to keep it. I got weights underneath my seat, underneath where my legs are, on the back, and when you put the weight, the higher the weight you put, the higher the weight that goes, the more tight the cart gets. If you know what I mean. I mean, it's if you want a loose cart, you put the weight lower. If you want it tighter, you put it up top.
And is
And
that
I
something?
have one in the front for the front end.
Is that
I mean,
something is that something you adjust on race day for the track?
No,
No.
I don't mess with it.
You don't. Okay.
I don't mind. I mean, I don't. I'll lose about 8 pounds during a weekend, but I use the gas to counteract that.
So, how important is your steering geometry stuff, and is that adjustable as far as caster camber stuff? I know that's really important for round cars around here. I don't know if it was a golf or go-kart thing as well, or
It is. It is. Like this weekend, my new cart, I put I took the pill from up top and put it down on the bottom. So what that did was raise my cart because it raised the wheel, so it raised my front end, and then on my front end, we have 2 lines on the caster and camber, and on my right I pointed forward, which gave me less, and the one on the left I pointed. I'm sorry, I had it opposite. The one on the right I pointed back towards me, which is less camber, and the one on my left I pointed forward, which gave me more bite because we had a bunch of lefts.
okay.
Yeah.
So that was
And I never ran it that way.
Yeah.
But I seem to like it.
yeah. So and that's something. How many tracks do you race at?
I ran in 9 states last year.
Wow. Hey, that's doing something.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what? Is there stacker trailers for these types?
Yeah, there are. Yes, there are.
Me and Chris just bought a stacker trailer for full size cars, and it's just funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is.
Yeah.
You know what? And we get back on when I started. I was horrible, and Jenny's going to be horrible, but that's just part of it. She's like, I still want to be terrible. I'm like, well, you're going to be terrible.
Yeah.
And that's just what you do. And I've had some good people in my corner, and so will Jenny. And just compete. You compete with yourself. You compete time. If you run a lap at 1:04.6, you come back and try to beat it at one. You just try to, and then eventually you'll get to somebody.
Yeah.
It's just seat time. The more your ass is in the seat, that's especially at our age. When you're starting late, the more you get in the seat, the better you're going to get.
Yep.
And it's just you just got to do it. I mean, you got to take your beatings.
Yeah, comparing that to drag racing, we're single elimination. So a lot of times, you just go up there and make a mistake, and you're really just trying to beat yourself, try to improve, getting closer to your time, or improve your reaction, stuff like that. It's all incremental, and you're really racing yourself.
Yep. So how do you guys? How does your events run? Is there like some heats and then a final?
It's all different. Usually what we run is we have a practice session that morning. We'll go up the day before in like Newcastle and practice all Saturday, which helps. But normally on a race day, you get up, you have 1 or 2 practice sessions, you qualify, and then you have a heat race, and then you have a final.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
So,
The final is usually like a longer race than the rest of them.
16 to 20, anywhere from 16 to 20 laps.
Okay.
The heat races are anywhere from 8 to 10.
Are all the tracks similar as far as distance? Obviously, the turns are going to be different, but are they all about a mile or something like that? Or
No, the Charlotte, the one I ran this weekend is 0.65. Cincinnati's about the same. And then the Newcastle's like 1, and it ranges from anywhere from, half a mile to a mile and a quarter.
Okay, that's pretty good distance. Yeah.
So how did you do at your race this weekend?
I didn't do very good.
Oh, okay. Well,
I pulled off both heat races because I have a lung issue that I got to take care of.
Oh.
okay.
I got a collapsed lung on my right lower lobe.
Partially.
Partially.
Yeah.
Oh, that's got to make it tough.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Well, yeah, it was hard to breathe for a little bit, but I qualified 20th out of 44. So
Yeah, halfway there.
I was up to 15th, 14th in heat 1 before I had to pull off.
Was this collapsed lung from a go-kart injury or something else?
Well, I don't know. Last year at Charlotte, I hit a guy going 60 mile an hour, T-boned a guy, and I don't know. I think it might be.
Yeah. Do you
I
ever?
just never got it fixed,
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure what they would do for you. Do you?
I said, "Oh shit!" That's how I got out.
Yeah.
I got put in timeout because the guy come up. I come through and I was third in line, and he wrecked the guy in front line. The first guy. There's 3 of us, and the guy in the front couldn't do anything. I knocked the motor off the brace into his seat.
Oh,
That's how hard I bent my chassis by 2.5 inches, and I had to saw the cotter pin, the front wheel off to put the new front end off. And the dude come in, and he come up to, I cursed at him. I was walking through the scale to get weighed, because we get weighed after every race.
Mm-hmm.
And every time we go out, we get weighed. And he come up and tried to apologize to me, and had an old elderly lady was going to give me a penalty for something, and I told her, I told her basically no, and she put me in timeout like I was a damn kindergartner.
Yeah.
And the guy goes, "Man, I just need to apologize. I tried something that didn't work."
Yeah.
And if I could, oh my God, I'm glad my buddies were there, because I probably would have got.
Who knew that getting T-boned in the middle of the race wasn't going to finish you better?
Yeah. I'm like, the guy that T-boned was like, "Man, you all right? That was a hard hit." Yeah. I know it was.
I just want to go back on your collapsed lung. I had a thought that if you go to the doctor, they'll probably just give you a prescription for thoughts and prayers.
Probably.
Maybe.
Lots of prayers.
Blowing his balloon.
I don't even know how they fix anything like that, honestly.
Yeah.
It depends. If it's a diaphragm, they can do it through surgery.
Okay.
Which I don't care about that.
Yeah. Well, you got racing to do. You ain't got time for surgery.
Yeah, he didn't have time for a chest tube.
Who's got time for that?
Got to get it fixed.
Yeah.
This weekend, from the pole position to me, the distance was probably 0.2 of a second.
Oh wow, that's tight.
Yeah,
that is tight field. Yeah.
So
I mean, it's every, and in two cycle you can make stuff up, because like we said before, the acceleration is massive. So you can make a mistake and get away with it. In 4 cycle, we're matched so evenly, it's all about momentum.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make a mistake, and every mistake is compounded.
Yeah.
Especially if you make a mistake on a tight corner going to a long straight, it takes
at least 2 laps to catch back up.
Yeah, it's just hard. It's just
during the race, strategy wise, do you deal with drafting and stuff like that, just like in NASCAR, or is that not even an issue?
Oh, it's an issue.
Look at that stern face. It's an issue.
It's an issue. There's an issue. If it's, the shorter tracks, it don't matter as much, but like at Newcastle, it does, and it's an issue. And if you lose the draft, you're screwed. And if you're by yourself, and you got a train coming, it's
over.
It's done. But that's another thing, you got to get used to having somebody on your bumper going through a corner. Not everybody, you don't trust everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There's some guys you just want to get away from because they're idiots. Mm-hmm. But then there's some guys you trust, that are
going to work with you.
They're going to work with you, and you feel comfortable that they're not going to hit you. There's a difference between pushing and drafting and hitting somebody.
Right.
You just don't, and it's just so. It's so technical. I never thought it would be this hard, honestly, to be perfectly honest with you.
Pretty much every racing platform out there, you could say that about. Just every style. There's so much involved in any type of racing, even foot racing. You got footwear and you got all these things and strategies. It's crazy. You don't know what you don't know until you know it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you find out.
Yeah.
The big thing with us is tires. I mean, you go out and tires is huge, and you wouldn't think them little ass 7-inch go-kart tires make a difference in the back, but they do. You get a guy with new tires compared to the guy with not new tires, it's totally different too.
Yeah.
And that's your biggest. If you don't wreck, that's your biggest expense is tires.
How often do you go through them?
I usually go through them every 3 races.
Yeah. Well, how much
I'll go through a couple and then I'll flip them, and because the inside is wear because you know the way you set the cart up.
Oh, so you just
them.
rotate them around to the other side or whatever.
Yeah, flip them on the rim, and then you just after that they're practice tires.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then you have to think which race is going to say, okay, we want to use Vegas on this, or we want to use
So is there different compounds for tires, like Dura rating or whatever they would call it in that?
Like we use MG Reds, which are like hockey pucks when it's cold out at Newcastle, but they last forever.
Mm-hmm.
But once they're done, they're done. Like it's like falling off a cliff. Once it's over, it's over. For the national series, for the cup carts that I run, we run Vegas, which I personally love. They're a softer compound.
That's what he started me on.
So they lay rubber, so they're stickier. And they fall off. Now you need to qualify with the new set, but they don't fall off as much as the MG Reds. And then another track runs Hoosiers, which I've heard good things about, but I've never ran Hoosiers, so I don't know.
We run Hoosiers.
Yeah, I personally,
they're a bit bigger though.
The guy who builds my motors says that if I ran Hoosiers, that's all I'd want to run. And they have, but there's different compounds. There's MG Reds, yellows, whites.
Yeah.
Vega has just one compound. Hoosiers has 3, a 60B, 60C, and another one. It just depends on what you want to do, what the series that you run allow.
Mm-hmm.
But that's your biggest expense. Once you get all your crap, that's the big expense is tires.
What's obviously getting 3 races out of them, I'm sure they're not cheap a piece either.
No.
The motor rebuilds are probably relatively expensive too. You got to do one of those every so often as well.
Every 20 hours.
Yeah.
You could do as much, but if you really want, you could tell at 20. I mean, when you get a rebuild, you could really tell. And Jenny she'll see she's going to have a new engine on her cart that's been refreshed, so she won't know the difference for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But she'll come about it to where she'll tell the difference, and that costs about $600 for a rebuild.
Wow.
Get it rebuilt, whereas a new motor will cost you about $1,200 right now.
I'm saving half then. Speaking of Jenny, let's talk to her a little bit.
Yeah,
how the hell did you get into this?
Yeah, exactly.
That guy?
From him, and honestly, like just going to the track and seeing the support that he's gotten. I didn't get to see his first year, but I've seen his second and third. Now we're going into the fourth. And it just looks like, I mean, at almost, middle-aged, I'm like, what am I doing? But I really do think that there's not a lot of girls in the sport. There's one that I really enjoy that's our age and watching her do it. And so kind of back to that comment you all were talking about, like doing the drafting and stuff. Like girls, they get stayed away from.
Oh, really?
But Amber has been doing it for so long and has proved herself, at least in my eyes, the last 2 years, where the guys do work with her. So I'm just hoping that that's what will happen. But
I have a feeling. Have you ever seen like a nature channel where a shark goes to a school of fish? That's what it's going to look like in your first race.
I told Jenny, I said, we went to Cincinnati and she got some laps in and she spun out and looped it. And she's like, why looped it? I said, well, that's not a crash technically because you didn't hit anything.
No, but I felt it and I knew at that Like,
But she was so proud of herself.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
did you see that? Well, because they have what we call, don't you call it like it's called the carousel, but I call it like the toilet bowl because it does this number.
Mhm.
And you really have to pay attention to the apex, and it's a lot of straight lines on a really curvy track.
Yeah.
And I just didn't hit that corner back there and straight around. It was scary, but you just pull it back out and you go, you know. So there's going to be a lot of firsts.
So this is going to be your first year, right?
Mhm.
And have you had any type of practice time at all?
Not yet,
Okay.
but in the next couple of weeks, we're going to start heading up to Whiteland and Newcastle, and just like he was saying earlier, get some time on the track.
Yeah.
Are you going to be racing those asshole 15-year-olds?
No.
Mom, she whooped my ass.
She's had two practice sessions, and God love her. We went up to Cincinnati, and I kept giving her goals to reach, and she kept reaching them, and we kept getting new goals for her.
Mhm.
So she thinks she's going fast now, but she'll be different. It'll be different.
Well, and that's like he just said, that's so crazy. The first time I went out at Cincinnati, I came in, I was so full of adrenaline. I was like, I was going fast. And he was like,
No, not a.
You didn't even get your license yet, young lady.
I was crawling.
Yeah, he had the governor set all the way down.
I probably did.
Yeah.
But another thing that he did was put me on the Vegas on to my cart because of the tack.
Okay.
Right. And with the MGs, like he was saying, they're super hard. And I haven't even ridden on those yet. And I can just imagine that it's going to take a while to get them. Like you do a lot of this, you know, to warm them up.
What is your biggest fear?
Wrist injuries.
Wrist injuries.
Because I cut hair. So
Yeah.
Well, that's
it.
That's
As
it.
long as I can walk and talk, I'll be
Well, it's not a matter of if; it's just a matter of when. You know, but
exactly.
you know, as
it's
long
like when
as
I learned how to ride the motorcycle, it's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when that you're going to get wrecked. So same thing qualifies here.
Yeah, I bet. Is
Sooner
there?
the better, actually, to be honest with you.
What's that?
Sooner the she wrecks, the better.
Just to get it out of the
Just
way.
get it
Out of
over
the
with.
way. Yep.
Yeah.
Get it out of the way.
Yeah. Is there any type of? I mean, how hard is it to have Todd in your ear about all the things you did wrong? You know,
Well,
is that not a fear?
thankfully,
That would be a fear of mine. I wouldn't want a 204-pound Todd yelling at me I did something wrong.
Well, I'm hoping that he will and that he won't go easy on me. And I know that he won't. I mean, he wants to see me succeed, and we're going to be a team, you know? So, but I don't think he's going to be like cussing me out by any means.
Just remember the people that
if I deserve it, I deserve it, you know?
just remember the people that care about you the most are usually the hardest on you.
Yes.
Just so
right.
you know, they want to see you succeed.
I told her, I said, if I see you, if you crash or if you get something wrong, I'm not going to pull over to help you out.
Oh, yeah.
In the
Be in
same class. I might wave at you as I go by, but I am not getting out and stop.
No,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't want him to either. You know,
no.
like go ahead and get it. I'm the one that messed up, right? So, but I think what's also cool is that we are surrounded by so many supportive friends and racers that it won't just be him. It'll be other brothers, you know, that are, well, why'd you do that? You should have done this, which could be too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So, you know, as long as I listen to the one guy that whose equipment I'm using.
Yeah.
It'll be
Hey.
fine.
Do you use any kind of like cameras or anything to go back and analyze your runs? I mean, is it televised or anything where you can watch?
It's on TV, but I do have a GoPro on the front of my fairing that I'll go and watch. You know, I could go back and watch.
Do you use any data tracking software or anything like that to?
Well, I can, but I'm
We're both technically
Challenged, yeah.
like it'll tell you. It's called a Micron 5, and it'll tell you. You could like overlay with other racers, and it'll tell you when they break. If they have a Micron 5, it'll tell you when you break, and you could really decipher. Well, okay, I need to go faster here. and it really breaks it down. But I'm just a dummy.
Yeah.
I am. If you could gamble on it, or
the only data recorder you need is wherever you polled at.
Yes.
yeah,
I need to go faster than that guy. Yeah, me and Chris are real big into the data. We got computers and everything on our stuff, and we track weather and track conditions and all that stuff that plays into effect for us. So I can imagine. I've seen some guys on go-karts have like basically what we have, race packs that record everything: engine RPM, braking, a whole deal, G-forces.
Oh yeah, that's what I have on my steering wheel.
Yeah.
It hooks to my spark plug on my engine.
Okay. Yeah.
It'll tell you everything. You run it down the steering column, up the frame, up the motor, and hook it to your spark plug.
Right on.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
One thing I noticed, or I watched a video, I don't know, maybe it was a TikTok or something. They were talking about how when you drive a go-kart and you're really fast, that you're actually not using the steering wheel much. You're actually shifting your body weight. Is there any truth to that?
No.
Yeah, it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, because like I said earlier, like it has to be a lot of straight lines. Like the first time I was driving, he's like, "You're driving.
Mm-hmm.
You're not racing. You're still, doing this, and it needs to be
quick ones."
I can't hardly move in my seat, so I might lean my head. Like go if I'm, lean my head.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do that sometimes, but not your whole body. No.
Well, I guess what this TikToker was showing or saying was because your differential's locked in the rear, correct?
Yes.
So you almost kind of want to skid or put your weight on one side so you're up on a tire that the other tire can skid, because the differential thing will cause issues when you're trying to make tight turns. Maybe that's what they're getting at. It's from what I understood it anyway.
it bounces like.
I don't know what do you like if you're turning the left, the believe it or not, your outside right tire will go up in the air.
Really? Because how's
back.
science?
Yeah.
And as far as that goes, if it goes up too high, then you've got a wrong setup.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, so I just know where I'm hitting the rev limiter, and my guy who builds my motor says take the longest straightaway, and you hit the rev limiter at the end of the longest straightaway.
And that's what you say you're gearing towards.
That's when I set my gearing to.
Yeah.
Well, I write everything down. So
I'll send you all these TikToks. It's going to make you a better driver.
Jenny, we got back from Cincinnati, and I was out there, and she was watching. She took a break, and she's like, "Well, you're using the whole track." I'm like,
"Oh yeah, this was fun."
And I'm like, "Yeah, you could use the whole track. The rumble strips are there for a reason."
Yeah.
I was trying to avoid them,
and she was trying to avoid them. I'm like, "No, use them." And so then I gave her some videos on some drivers, some good drivers, and and Ryan Norberg, and she was watching them. So she calls me, and she's like, "Hey, Ryan said that use the whole track and use the rumble strips." I'm like, when you coach your kid in sports, you don't listen to you, but the assistant coach tells them the same thing, they listen to you.
Yeah.
That's what you. And I'm like, well, God, that fucking line to you.
Yeah. I hate it.
There's one curve at Cincinnati. I can totally picture it, and it's an inside curve, and so the apex is here, but the rumble strips way over here, and I'm like trying to get it in as tight as I can so I'm not anywhere near. He's like, "No, hit that rumble strip, and then it'll push you off into your next turn."
Huh.
It'll upset the chassis just enough to get you turned, right? Basically, that's what it's doing.
Well, sometimes you use the gas to turn the cart.
Yeah.
The worst thing you can do is let off the gas. To turn the cart.
Sometimes you get a turn right to turn left.
Yeah.
I love to drive a sprint car. So if anybody wants to let some guy give it a whirl,
in there. Yeah, that would be cool. Let's look at some pictures.
Turn the steering wheel.
Let's look at some pictures while we're up here. Let's go to the back. I think this is the first one we got. It looks like you getting some fire suits and stuff on. What kind of protective equipment do you wear? Is it SFI stuff?
Nomex. We don't have no fire. It's just a regular old suit. It's got to be abrasion resistant to a certain degree, and it's just easier to wear one.
I got
you know what I'm saying?
And I assume, is it SFI rating type stuff, or do they give you your specs you got to have for
Yes,
your
correct.
safety
And the
equipment?
neck brace, you have to wear. Before, a lot of tracks now are making you wear neck braces, which I would anyways, because I mean, I don't want to be drinking through a straw if
I
something
understand.
happened.
Well, and rib protection.
Is it just
Yeah.
is it just a brace that goes underneath your helmet, or is it a Hans device?
No, it's just a brace that goes underneath my helmet.
All right. We just recently bought Hans devices for our stuff.
Yeah.
How much? Oh, really? How much are those?
We got ours relatively. We got a
About 500?
550,
Yeah.
and it's what we like about ours is it's very compact, so it doesn't really limit your motion at all.
Yeah.
Some of them are real bulky. But the other thing is, I'm not even sure how a Hans device, because you're not actually strapped into this thing, right?
No.
So,
It wouldn't work.
no, you would have to use like a Simpson hybrid.
Yeah, the one that straps around you.
Which it has it has the Hans device, and then actually it straps onto you like a backpack. Is the only one you really have the option for.
Yeah.
But they are really protective. I would recommend looking at them. Just the speeds you're going, being a fireman, it doesn't take a whole lot to get a basal fracture.
Yeah.
No, not at all. The helmet was expensive. Gosh dang.
Yeah, they are, especially in the new Snell stuff, 2028.
Did you say basal fracture or was it parsley?
Was I wrong about
no,
that?
it was basil.
Yeah, I'm a marginal EMT at best. All right, and this looks like a devastating loss. Is that what's going on here?
Now, man, look at that! I got a lot of sun on my head there. But anyway, that was the Grands last year. There was 600 entrants, so I was starting ninth.
Well, and it was a dry start, or what do you call it?
No, I was starting ninth, so I was kind of but
you were on the track. You all weren't in the.
Yeah, we were on the track. At that time they wheel them out and they introduce you and everything. And to me that's stressful.
Mm-hmm.
I just rather just get in the cart and drive.
Go, yeah.
And I'm very competitive, so I was just.
He gets quiet.
I get quiet before a race, especially a big race like that, because
If you go, I don't know if you got all those.
I got
pictures.
everyone you sent me.
Okay, because there's one picture where it's real far away, but there's like a line of probably 50 carts.
Maybe we'll get to that in a minute, I'm sure.
You'll get to it.
That's my buddy right there.
That was this race.
Okay. So that's your buddy
That's
up there, right?
Casey Stahl. That's one of my good friends. They're great people. They have a podcast, Stahl Racing. That's STAHL, and they're just great people, man. They got great videos if you ever want to watch them.
Send us a link and we will link them down below in case anybody's more interested in listening to some go-kart stuff.
They're funny. That's getting ready to go out.
Yeah.
The same race.
That's a cool shot.
Yeah, it is a really cool shot. I like how the background's kind of blurred.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
So there's your little GoPro and your fairing.
You go, girl.
Yeah.
So what kind of?
I took all the shit off of it because it just gets rubbed off anyways.
I like the matte black anyway.
And your decal, those that have a decal kit, they weigh 3 pounds.
The decals do.
Yeah,
No
believe it or
shit.
not.
with when you're trying to get every pound possible, that makes sense.
Wow.
So is carbon fiber and stuff legit? Like, is people doing that, trying to save weight?
Like, if he ever watches this, he's going to kill me. But my engine builder, he likes to eat a little bit, and he's the best go-karter in the. He's just amazing.
Yeah.
And,
it's this guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's putting carbon fiber on all his go-kart so he could cut weight because he has a hard time cutting weight. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot of panels there. You could, but you can still probably save a couple of pounds.
Yeah.
Going carbon fiber.
So like he does the floor where my feet are. Those he does carbon fiber as pedals, seats, what have you. The seat is really huge, believe it or not.
Yeah, carbon fiber seat. I bet because your other option would be fiberglass, right? And they're probably pretty thick.
And there's different stiffnesses too. And as you see in my gas pedal foot, they call it a green bean can because I'm like, again, 5'4". So
you don't have like a little booster seat, you said? So on these body styles, is there different styles of bodies for like aerodynamic purposes, or is everybody running pretty much the same thing?
Only difference on the mine from Jenny will have a skinnier fairing, up front where my GoPro's at. But there's other ones that have a
cutout.
a cutout right above between the bolt and my GoPro, so wind could go through it.
Okay.
And some of them have like a ridge running up the middle of it, where my 17 up through that way.
Are all those styles pretty competitive, or is there one that is majority winning type of thing? Does it matter? I guess is the question.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It really doesn't.
All right, there's another front shot. Cool shot as well.
I do that a lot. That's like, leave me alone.
Yeah, trying
Just
to
take a breath, because I'm hyperventilating at this point.
Hey, so how many pounds do you put on? How many pounds weight do you put on?
15 pounds.
Well, you 2 cylinders, like 10 pounds. Fit that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll fix your collapsed lung.
There you go. There you go. That would work.
Put it between my legs.
Yeah.
And it looks like Jenny's first day at school.
Because
I surprised her. I can't get it. I surprised her and I said, "Hey, you want to get down the track?" She's like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm serious." She's like, "Well," I said, "I got my stuff. I brought all this stuff." And there's a story behind that suit. But that was my original helmet, my original rib protector.
Okay.
So she's like, yeah. So, yeah, she had no idea she was going out on that track
That's
day.
awesome.
Oh, that's really cool.
it was very awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very special. You look very excited, a little nervous maybe. I like your T-shirt.
Yeah.
Get in, loser. We're taking America back.
Oh.
Oh, I thought that was the one that says, "Get in, loser. We're doing butt stuff." So there's a picture of an older lady going to get like a prostate, or not prostate. No, she women don't have prostates. A colonoscopy. That's what it was. So get in, loser. We're doing butt stuff.
She could be one that has a horse's ass.
Yeah. Hey, Chris has a horse's ass.
I got a horse's ass trophy. You can't
He's
see
got
it.
a trophy.
I have a sweatshirt that says bad, and then it has a donkey, so
Oh.
it's badass.
Gotcha.
Yes.
All right, next up, a long line of vehicles here, it looks like.
Can I go out? Yeah. So that's just can I go out? You just hang out. As you can see, my my side pod there's a little bent.
Mm-hmm.
That's when
Did a little hurting on
that
it.
shit happens.
That shit happens. That's right.
Yeah, shit. And it looks like
I
some
mean,
racing
that's
shots here.
That's how close you get through the corners coming out of that's turn 2 at Newcastle.
Okay.
So,
Is the majority of
we're
your
gonna-
races outside?
What's that?
Is the majority of your races outside?
They're all outside.
They're all outside. Ooh, okay.
And rain is horrible.
Oh, do you have rain tires?
Yes.
Oh,
Really?
interesting.
Saturday I come out. I was drenched, and I have yet to figure out how, when you're wearing a rubber like a raincoat, a
Yeah.
rain suit
Yeah.
over your suit, how you get your groin wet, and when you get out of the seat that you're barely fitting in,
Yeah.
and you get in and you got to drill holes in the seat to drain the water out.
There's a puddle.
Oh,
There's a puddle.
Wow.
I can see that.
Yeah.
It was awful. Racing in the rain is awful.
I can imagine, we've taken some motorcycle trips that we've had to run in the rain before,
Yeah.
and that is not fun getting pelted by rain at all.
Yeah.
And it's bad for the engines too.
Yeah, I bet. I bet it clogs up the intake filter and everything else.
Correct. We put a thing over the air filter, but it's still water still gets in there.
Yeah.
I could see.
That's Jenny going out.
Yeah.
So that's the part that she's going to be using.
She on the racetrack, or she make her way to the parking lot? I can't tell.
Yeah, I'm making my way through the parking lot.
It's like, you
Oop.
didn't let her out on the track. You just said, "Here, just do little donuts here."
She's in like the play area.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
She's going to be all right. She'll
Yeah.
be good.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I got a buddy that is just amazed with her in the fact that at her age that she wants to actually take the dive into it and put herself out there, because it is a big step, and it's competitive and it is dangerous, but it's safe, but it's dangerous all in the same. And for her just to take the step and the willingness to try it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people.
She's going to purposely go out there and try to hurt me, or
No.
Yeah.
or vice versa, But because accidents happen,
Yeah.
it will hurt.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's in any type of sport, there's injuries. It's just you got to live life. You can't worry about it too much.
Yeah, and you're going to have a lot of frustrations. I mean, I've only been racing for a few years myself, and the frustrations I felt by not competing the way I should and everything. But you learn every time. Every time you lose is a winning opportunity to learn. So just like Todd was saying, you're going to just focus on you and focus on your times, and you're just naturally going to get better, and that's awesome.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
So
just have to go for the first person in front of me.
Yeah, just a little
Check
better.
it off.
Yeah.
And once you get, because she'll be racing the same people. Once she gets that and beats that joker, okay, well then she'll get pissed when that joker he or she beats her back because she's done beat him or her once.
Yeah.
So she'll use that as a standard as fuck you, I ain't gonna let him beat me no more. I'm better than him.
Yeah,
So that's in that aspect, her competitiveness will shine through.
for sure. So your first time out, were you going around kind of slow, trying to figure things out, and then you're like, Todd, I'm dropping the hammer.
Well,
Drive through
You
the
better
smoke.
not, Cole.
actually, this
That ain't
time
your
out,
race car.
I remember, didn't it die on me?
Yeah, the second time
Because
time it died on.
I was slowing up instead of having my foot on the gas and hitting the brake. I just took my foot off the gas and it died on me. And so that was a learning experience. Oh, okay, you can't just let it all the way off. You have to keep gas going.
Yeah.
Is
there guys around the track that just run around restarting engines?
They're
helping you.
They'll help.
Yeah.
And they know who's been out there, like not a lot, who's been out there a lot. So they'll give her a hand. Even when she's qualifying and racing, she's pretty much on her own. You know what I'm saying? She'll have to restart it herself. They can't restart it, but if she's out there practicing, they'll restart it for her.
Well, the one time it died on me, remember they came out and even the guys tried to start it for me and it wouldn't start. So we had to pick it up and put it on the John Deere and take it in. But typically it doesn't happen.
So on qualifying, is it a similar NASCAR or Indy or whatever, where you go out and you're by yourself trying to make the fastest lap you can make, and then you get your qualifying order?
Correct. In Indianapolis, it's Newcastle Wire race. It's 4 laps, and there's no drafting allowed. If you get caught bump drafting, then they'll dock you places. You're not supposed to touch anybody. At Cincinnati, it's the same way, and but it's a time limit. It's a 5-minute. So at Cincinnati, you got these jokers that sit in the back and wait to go because they don't want to get caught up with anybody. Well, they lose a lap in qualifying because at 5 minutes the time goes off. So if you're not up front, if you're up front, you get an extra lap, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So,
all right,
it just depends on what track it is.
Let's take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back. All right, and we're back. Hopefully you can actually see us this time. All right, at this time, why don't you give all your thanks and all that stuff that you want to tell everybody you're thankful for? Anybody? Not thankful for anybody?
Okay. Well,
that was a long break.
I just have a lot of, I don't know. I have so many people to thank, man. It's been a good journey, and Jenny's getting ready to get into it, and she's going to suck, but she's going to have fun. And as long as she gets better and listens to the people that are successful, I've been pretty blessed with Gary, who builds my engines.
Gary Lawson
and Comet Cart Sales, who builds my chassis, and just the sheer fact of the people, sitting around and drinking cocktails and sitting by the fire and just the good people. I have so many people to come, to thank for
where he is now.
I've gotten pretty good. I gotten better very quickly, and hopefully Jenny does too. And it's just a support staff. It's competitive, but I've surrounded myself with some good people too, and we travel together and what have you. It's just a fun time,
That's half the battle, getting the right people around you to help you.
And he has. It's been amazing to watch that, because I don't like being in the firehouse. He's got camaraderie there. He's got camaraderie at the track. Like, I don't have anything like that currently. I work with my staff at work, but that's different, So I'm excited to be a part of just the group that he has chosen, and they've allowed me to come in.
Yeah.
So I like that.
If it's anything like our racing, you'll be very accepted and you'll have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always.
So
the first time out when she went out, that the picture you're seeing.
Oh yeah,
the
I wish I had a picture of
the
that.
first time she went out, I didn't tell nobody else that she was going out, and we went out in the first turn, and some friends of mine, they were standing on turn one
by the track,
giving her thumbs up and stuff. So yeah, that means a lot.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was a good feeling.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
Yeah, cool.
So, two things, we may bring you guys back on. This has been a great conversation.
that'd be awesome, man.
I'd love to.
Or maybe we'll bring you back on after you guys have been racing a few races. And
Yeah.
and Jenny, we'll kind of follow up on you and see how well you're doing this year.
Cool.
So we really appreciate you guys coming on. We did not know what to expect because we knew nothing about go-karting, and it's been a very pleasurable experience.
Yeah,
and
great.
I say that. Yeah, and I think all of our listeners, we're so used to talking drag racing and stuff that
it'll be different.
They're going to hear something different and learn something new. So that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Was it as good for you as it was for us?
So anyways, we thank you guys so much for coming out and joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Be
Corey.
safe.
Thanks,
All right,
Chris.
see you guys.
Bye-bye. All right, man. That was a great interview. I cannot thank Todd and Jenny enough. That was great. We had a really fun time.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect, and we even told them before the interview.
We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
But
and they schooled us.
yeah, I think one fireman to the other. I think that was a good interview.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Because there's a little back and forth there. That was good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, real good.
Awesome.
We really appreciate them coming on. So we got a couple of viewer mails.
Yeah, actually, it's one and then a reply to it.
Okay.
Last one that we had on was
Dina Parisi.
Dina Parisi, the figure skater pro mod driver.
Yeah, yeah. And if you didn't watch that, the one right before this, there'll be a link and card in the description.
Yep. Fast Eddie comes on and he says, I could be mistaken, but I didn't think a trans brake could be activated on the second or third gear. I know mine only works in first gear. And that typically for our power glides, that's what it is. It's
Yeah,
only
power
first gear.
glide. Yeah, power glide. You can't trans brake in second gear, but she doesn't run a power glide. She runs a Linko, I believe, and
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. I've reached out to her. She's going to respond, and I'll let you know. But we do have a response from Robbie.
Yeah, our buddy Robbie, he says, yes, any transmission can be turned into an any gear trans brake. Some power glides could be high gear trans brake, and the 350 and 400 could be second gear trans brake. Not sure if you can do a third gear trans brake. Don't know how it works, but it can be done. So it's interesting.
Yeah, so from my understanding, a Linko is just a power glide stacked onto a power glide stacked onto a power glide. So, again, I'm not sure if it's possible. I've reached out to Dina to ask, and I'll let you know. And
So our friend Brian Todd, we talked about it actually in that episode,
Yes.
but we talked about it many, many episodes ago. He hit his trans brake button with his knees, what he told us. But how did that work for him?
It locked up somehow. And again, I'm not really sure the specifics. We don't know if it was a failure of the transmission that caused that, or if we're not 100% sure.
Yeah, but
So it happened to
dangerous.
him. He had a turbo 350.
Okay. Yeah, I think he was telling us in that interview one time how it actually worked.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to go back to our own episodes and read up on
Yeah, I know,
that.
man. I like going back through the catalogs. You
Yeah.
guys should too. Maybe we need to have Brian on. He's been sending us pictures. I've got them, and maybe we'll just have him on to tell us about all the damage he's found. I think he's trying to get it fixed up for Bowling Green. He keeps showing me parts and making me jealous because he's buying new stuff, shiny stuff.
Yeah,
But-
if you've not seen it, you need to go back to the interviews. He has is a 31 or 30?
Something like it. 29 Model A. I
Yeah,
believe.
Model A coupe that's badass. And Corey talked him into doing some.
I didn't talk him into shit. If that man tells you that, that's a lie. He came to me and he said, "Hey, I bought this. What should I do with it?" And I was like, I actually, to be honest with you, in the pits prior to, I said, "You probably want to take a little bit right here out." And he goes, "I want to see what it's going to do." That's exact words, Brian.
Yeah,
That is not my fault. So, but he did show me a picture of a wheelie bar. So I think he's getting one of those installed.
Yeah, I raced him his first race out with that new combo he had, and I was a little late getting off the line, but I remember seeing he was to my left, and all I saw was that coupe way, way up in the air and coming down really hard. And the thing was, he still beat me.
Yeah, man, what a man to drop it that hard and then just get right back
on it. Yes, exactly.
It sucks for him because he's from Alabama, and he drove all the way up here for that race, and he got to make one lap.
One lap, yes. Sorry, Brian.
That's just how it goes.
Hey guys, listen, if you want to see the video of this, we're on the Blood Brothers Racing YouTube channel. It's actually called Blood Brothers Garage now.
Yeah, we probably need to change it.
Yeah, we need to do something there. But if you're watching us on the YouTube channel and you want to actually hear us in your car, you can go to all the major podcast platforms like Spotify and Apple and all that, and we are on there. Just look up Line Locked.
If you want to email us, linelockedpodcast@gmail.com. It's right
yes, absolutely. We got a lot of exciting things coming up for the race season, so be sure to subscribe and like and all
Share
that
it
stuff.
with a friend. We would love you to do that because we need that.
Sharing is caring.
It is. And if you have a guest or want to be a guest, again, email us at linelockedpodcast@gmail.com.
Absolutely.
And we'll get you on here. Just you got to be fun and funny.
Absolutely. So, hey, man, I think we're going to be out for this episode, and it's been a pleasure talking to you guys. Be sure to do all that stuff, like subscribe and all that. And we're going to do it this time. I'm Chris.
I'm Corey. And we missed it way far out.
We're just talk.
All right. Love you guys. See ya.